I think black people are not irredeemable, but there just needs to be brutal honesty. It's like, look, these black people are really struggling and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel, and, you know, look, nobody hates black people for being black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare. And I don't consider myself one of them. The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative.
I think that Nick Fuentes is 100% true, or telling 100% truth for certain black people. Ends do this stuff. Black people don't act like this. And I think Nick Fuentes is an example, in my opinion, of a person who only have a certain amount of experiences with black people, not the totality of how black people operate. This video is brought to you by Synergy Life, ladies and gentlemen. If you're sick of being soft, if you're sick of your T levels being low, if you're tired of being a Democrat, won't you get you some T-Force and become a man today, all right? We had the original T-Force, which is the regular T-Force, and then we made it advanced. I suggest you take this with food and you take it before a workout to maximize. Get you some T-Force today, 25% off, because I hate these white bottles and I want to get them out of here, to be honest. We give you a discount code for 25% off. Get you some T-Force today. God bless you, God bless America, and let's get strong, baby. Black fatigue, because people are saying in the comment section, black fatigue. I haven't heard this clip from Nick Fuentes. I think Nick Fuentes is a racist. He say he's not a racist, but he was on Candace Owens show and pretty much said he was a racist. Is this the clip from the funding family? Is this the clip from the Cartier family?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the one. This is the exact clip. Okay. Now, I don't have a lot of respect for Nick Fuentes. Let me just qualify this real quick. I think that Nick Fuentes is a smart person. I think that if he used his smartness and intelligence and his IQ for good, I think he could actually be a good force in the world. I think he could actually be an incredible force. He could be like Charlie Kirk, but he is like the alter ego of Charlie Kirk. If Charlie Kirk went rogue, he will be Nick Fuentes. I swear Nick Fuentes want to be Charlie, but he can't get his stuff together. He don't want to do right, I don't think. He has these crazy radical claims. He is racist. He may not want to say he is, but he's racist. He said on Candace Owens show when they did the podcast that he considered himself racial at first, but now he think he's racist. He's a racist person that make illegitimate claims. But a broken clock can be right twice a day, just so you know. So I want to hear this because I saw Cartier family do a reaction to this video, and I heard the first like 3 seconds, and I say, oh man, this is juicy. So I want to listen to what he had to say, and does he have a point? In the comment section, let me know, do you think he have a point about some of the things he's saying? And also, is he a racist or is he not a racist? Roll the clip.
It's a shame. I really do believe, look, I think black people are not irredeemable, but there just needs to be brutal honesty. It's like, look, these black people are really struggling and they're turning into these maniacs. It seems like they don't do anything right. They're obnoxious, they're rude, they're inconsiderate, aggressive, cruel, and, you know, look, nobody hates black people for being black. If there are people like that, I think that's exceedingly rare, and I don't consider myself one of them. The reason that people have negative attitudes about black people is because most people's interactions with black people are negative.
Most
people's interactions with black people is when you're stuck in traffic and you see a Nissan Altima speeding down the shoulder. And you say, what the f***? You're not supposed to do that. If everybody did that, it would just be another lane, and, you know, not everybody can do that. But it's like these people have no respect for decorum. They think the rules don't apply to them. They have no respect for society. Like, that's their interaction is they are a waiter, and they wait on a black table, and the black people don't tip. Rude. Like, that's most people's interactions. It's stuff like that. They go to the DMV and they see a black person behind the counter and they say, oh, here we go. And the person's rude. Now, it just goes to show people are not racist. It goes to show people don't like people that are rude. That people don't, it's unpleasant. People want to be treated with consideration and respect. And it is true that black people are, in this day and age, unfortunately, seem to have very low moral character. It's not even just the violence, although the violence is pretty striking. If you live your life and you know that you're going to be mugged by black people, it kind of colors your opinion or perception of black people, wouldn't you say? If 99% of the carjackings and stabbings...
Let me pause real quick. I think that Nick Fuentes is 100% true, or telling 100% truth for certain black people. Like, if you've ever lived in America long enough to be around different groups of people, live in diverse cities, you realize this is not most black people. But it is sections of black communities and experiences that people are having with black people like this. I think black people do this more than anybody else do it per capita, but this is not every black person is like this. If you go into an IHOP, like we went to IHOP when we were in Orlando, Florida, the black people in there were ghetto, but they were nice, they were respectful, some of the best service that we've had. Not every black person that's in the hood is a bad person. I grew up in the hood. Most black people in the hood don't like the black people that are acting up. Most black people in the hood are not acting up. It's the ones that act up get the most attention. It's the ones that's going up the shoulder like this that people remember. But they don't remember all the other black people that are sitting in traffic with. They just remember the one flying up the bankment. They go to Mardi Gras or go to, not Mardi Gras, but the Cincinnati Brawl. It's probably 40,000 black people out there. But they remember the ones who are beating up this white lady. And that's not every black, that's these knuckleheads. And I think that Nick Fuentes is 100% correct when it comes to the ends. N-words act like this. N-words are rude. N-words give you bad service. Ns do this stuff. Black people don't act like this. And I think Nick Fuentes is an example, in my opinion, of a person who only have a certain amount of experiences with black people, not the totality of how black people operate. He's never been in a neighborhood where black people are normal. He's probably experiencing black people hood, thug, N-words. And then now he's saying black people are like this. Most people interaction with black people are negative. I don't know if that's true if you live in Arizona, if you live in Las Vegas, if you live in California. Most of your negative interactions are not just black people. But if you're Nick Fuentes and you live in like Detroit somewhere, then maybe you'll think differently. If you live, like for instance, let's give an example. Most white people live around white people. Most black people live around black people. To be honest, most white people don't have that much of engagement with black people as much as they do with white people. Same thing with black people. When I was growing up in a black neighborhood, we never seen white people unless they're cops or crackheads. We were living our own life like this. And white people never really mess with black people like that. And a lot of the crossover are decent black people going to work and doing stuff like that. Not the ends. And so I just put it in perspective. I think that Nick Fuentes have what we call black fatigue. Like his experiences with black people have been negative. So he think that majority of black people act like this, which is just not true. Let me give you a statistic and then we'll finish the clip. If you look at the homicides, black community homicides, black on black violence, black on whoever, is about 6,000 people are killed every year due to black suspects murdering them. There's 40 million black people that live in America. 6,000 homicides, meaning there's 6,000, and that's just if one person killed one person. That'll be 6,000 suspects. 40 million black people live in America. So the majority of black people aren't even committing crimes. The majority of black people are not murdering people. But when you're in these situations like Nick Fuentes in isolated areas, you experience probably what he's experiencing. I'm just saying that it's not as widespread as he may be trying to make it out to be, or maybe not trying to, the way it's coming across. Roll the clip.
Shootings that you see in Chicago are by black people. When you're walking down the street late at night, guess what you're looking for? Black people.
In Chicago.
And you equate that with danger. And it doesn't take a lot of them to spoil the whole bunch like that. And we just want black people to take accountability and say, look, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. It just seems that every time I encounter you people, for the most part, it's negative.
You people,
and
for the most part.
Sometimes extremely negative, like I could get a gun in my face. You know? That's a problem. And people go, well, you are just loaded up with hatred and racism. It's like, I'm really not. I'm a really friendly person. I'm a really polite, friendly person. I give everybody a chance. But if I'm someplace and I see some black person walking in with their pants sagging and they can't articulate what their problem is or what they need, and they're rude and they're aggressive and I'm in fear for my life, like, yeah, I have a problem with all of that. And people go, and these black people go, well, you're racist, you're racist. It's like, no, I just hate inconsiderate behavior.
Pause. Now, I know this is a short notice. Can somebody pull the clip up of Nick Fuentes on Candace Owens' show when he said that he's racist? Because people saying I'm racist, people saying I'm racist. The things that you're saying is actually racist. You can't couple it by saying black people do this. I'm afraid of black people. When I see a black person, but then what about the black people you see that don't have saggy pants? Do you still believe that about them? Because you're acting as if everybody you encounter is the thug. You don't encounter any reasonable black people. Then where are you living at that you don't encounter no normal black people? I've been all around the country, and yeah, some of them ends are dangerous and you can be fearful of them. But that's not every black person. I went to Birmingham, Alabama, around nothing but black people. Most people are normal. And then you got the thugs who you can look a mile away and be like, yep, that person right there ain't up to no good. But to say most encounter black people of this, it just comes across that way. And then he was on Candace Owens' show pretty much saying he was a racist. And that's why people think you're a racist. And of course, he said a lot of other crazy stuff about black people. He said black people should be in jail for the most part. That's not like, it's okay to say black people need to be held accountable for things that they do, that black people are, especially in these inner cities, are more violent. They need to be educated. I mean, make a preface to say in the inner cities and other things like that. That'll make it sound more normal. But when you try to blanket black people and say they should be incarcerated for the most part, you're losing touch with saying that you're not a racist. Because he's not just categorizing violent behavior. Because if you ask Nick Fuentes today, and if he listened to this, he'd probably try to have an argument for it if somebody asks him. But if you ask him today, who's the biggest threat to America? He'll say black people. I could almost imagine that he would say black people. Who are the most dangerous people in America? Black people. No, it's not. It's these blue-head leftist nut jobs are the most dangerous people in America. Antifa, dangerous people in America. White liberals, and through legislation, will destroy this country. They are the most dangerous people. They will get you locked up, shadow banned. They force you to wear a mask. They do all of this stuff that's detrimental to the existence of America. They have power. They have influence. Black people don't even touch a candle to these white liberals, to be honest. And you think about the world. Look at the African countries and you say whatever. But look at what white, leftist, weak people have done to the world. Europe is being taken over by Muslims. Why? Because of weak, I want to use the R word, white folks that are letting Muslims into their countries because they feel white guilt. In America, who's the ones that's going to make America fall off the cliff? It's white liberals. They destroy everything. And I would argue that the white liberal destroyed the black community, if you ask me. And then who is capitulating and supporting the foolishness that go on in the black community? It's these white liberals. They're the ones telling that black people shouldn't be incarcerated. What do you mean they should be incarcerated? They're the ones crying at defund the police, defund the police, defund the police. The white liberal is pushing that. The white liberal is running on that premise for the most part. And I'm not saying some of these black ones ain't bad, but the white liberal is the most dangerous to democracy and to the existence of the Constitution out of any group in the world. They are going, if we unabated, they are going to destroy America. And the powerhouse of America will cease to exist. And every single society will come crumbling down because of these nut job white liberals. Who's pushing for more immigration, illegal immigration in America that's going to destroy this country? It's white liberals. If they get their way, we're done. Who's pushing this transgenderism stuff? White liberals. They're going to be the death of America. So I think they're a lot more dangerous than black folks. Black folks voted 90% for Democrats and still lost. They do not have leverage. They do not have power like the liberals do. All right. This is the Nick Fuentes clip. Play the clip and you just tell me what you think about what he said. Roll it.
I always say on my show, it's just my value. I want to marry someone that looks like me, that comes from a similar background, because I want my kids to look like me. I want my grandkids to look like me.
But are you, sorry, I just want to make sure, did you say I'm a racialist or I'm a racist?
You know, for a long time, I would say I'm racialist. Now I just say I'm racist.
Okay, so when you say you're racist, because these definitions get changed around, racist, anti-Semitism gets expanded. What do you mean when you say I'm a racist? Because I think most people watching this would go, if you are a racist in the traditional sense of the term, why are you on this podcast, right? Wouldn't you just go, you know what, Candace is black and she's therefore I don't want to speak to her.
Right.
Certainly not going onto your show and saying, why won't Candace have me on? That doesn't really seem to line up with the traditional sense of the idea racist. So
yeah, and I'm using it. I'm being a little tongue in cheek. I mean, for the purpose of understanding, I'd say my views are I'm a racialist. But I do think that we need to deconstruct this idea of racism in the sense that, look, you're black, I'm white. It is what it is. For my entire life, people have been walking around on eggshells about the subject of race, about white people being racist. Can I say this? Can I say that? Can I have this opinion? And me, I'm sort of, Gavin McInnes said it like this. He said, you're kind of post-racist. You're sort of after this craze where everything was racist. It's sort of this recognition that we live in a heavily racial world. And, look, sometimes we have racist feelings. Racist feelings like I want to live in a white neighborhood. I don't want to live in a black neighborhood. If they were all like you, obviously it'd be a different story. But when we think of a black neighborhood, we know what that means and why the property value is cheap.
But that's black American. So this is why I want to understand this idea better because, and this is kind of something my cousin has said, which I guess you could say is a racist statement, but she says that white people in America are the white trash of white people in the world, meaning that like there's a special category of uniquely that you don't see when you're dealing with like white Americans here, that if you went across to like Switzerland, you wouldn't see this version of a white person necessarily, or you maybe went to the continent of Africa, you don't see this version of a black person either. Like even if you went to to the tribes out in Africa that still exist, they would be a far cry from a black American living in a neighborhood in Compton, right? So I'm trying to understand if you think that it's all black people are like this, or if your world is kind of colored by this is what's going on in America, this has failed for 1,000 reasons, welfareism has definitely, black people in 1940s, stand up. My grandfather, I talk about that denigration and the corrosion of culture. That's happening. White, black, whatever you want to name it, there is this intentional corrosion of culture. So do you think it's literally, well, this is just what a black person is when they come out? Or do you think that post-welfare, LBJ, Great Society, this is what black Americans have become, and I have a right to respond to that and say that as a white man, I don't want to live there?
Well, I think it's more nature than people would like to believe. There's this classic tension of, is it nature, is it nurture? Is it cultural, or is it intrinsic? Is it racial? And I've always been on the latter side of this among conservatives.
This is on Candace's show. But he said, I used to say I'm a racialist, but I'm a racist. He go on to talk about how he want to marry somebody that looked like him. That, like, black people are not all the same. This is where people become racist in my book. Black people are not the same. So when you say black people and you generalize, to me that's racist. That's like thinking all white people are the same. That's racist. For a black person to think all white people are the same. There's Irish, there's Italian, there's Jewish. You go down the list. There's different white people. So don't you say all white people are the same. I don't want to marry a white person. And you say, I want to only marry black. Think about this for a minute. If I said I only want to marry black because of my culture, well, what culture are you talking about? African culture? You talking about African American culture? You talking about Texas culture? You talking about the bloodline of Tatum culture? What are you saying? I don't discriminate against different people based on the color of their skin. And what Nick Fuentes is saying, he would. He could see a black woman and like her, but he can't be with her because she's not white. That's racist. Now, you can do it. You live in America. You do what you want to do. But he said it out of his own mouth. And he said stuff over the years. It's racist. But it's okay to be, if that's what you want to be. I don't care that Nick Fuentes is racist. I don't care that Nick Fuentes wants to only marry white people because he wants his kids to look like him. I don't care. He's entitled to his own opinion. But I don't want him walking around and saying he's not a racist. No, you racist, but it's okay for you to be racist. I mean, I want to, people that are in this comment section, I know there's some white people in the comment section that feel some type of way about what I'm saying, but just say if I said I don't want to marry, I'll never marry a white woman. Why would I marry a white woman? I want my kids to look like me. What do you mean marry a white woman? Are you saying because she's white, these are the things that come along with her? This is who she is because she's white? And this, to me, that's what I think they're saying about black people. Because why would you want to marry a black woman? Because you want your kids to look like you. Why do you want your kids to look like you? Exactly like you, I guess. Is it because, to me, it's superfluous. My kids are mixed. They don't have to look like me. They look like me, but they don't have to be the same color. Their DNA is not somehow destroyed because their mama is white and I'm black. It's that a reasonable, rational person want to be with a woman that's good for them, that's going to be a good woman, a good mother, and all those other things. That's what this is, in my opinion, that's what this is all about. But the clip didn't work, right? Did we finish the clip we already have?
We got about
I'll let them finish. I'll let them finish it and we move on.
If black people were super well behaved, we would be racist in the other direction. We'd say black people, oh yes, dude, yes. My day is about to turn around for the better. What can I help you with, sir? Please come right on in. Man, what a relief to see you here. You're a sight for sore eyes. If black people were known for being the best, then we would be racist in the other direction. Oh, finally.
Dude,
so
stop.
yeah, that really bothers me.
You know, maybe he's out of context. Maybe he just want to focus on black people. But I'm like, so you think white people don't commit crime? Like, are you saying that when you see a white person, you automatically think they tip? White people tip well? Now, you could have the argument that black people disproportionately act this way, but you can't say as if you're not afraid or you're not concerned with white people doing certain stuff. Because if you look at the statistical data, white people commit more crimes than anybody else. Like number-wise, the murders, the grapes, you name it, white people have done it far more than anybody else. The incarceration numbers, there's more white people incarcerated than anybody else. So you can't say as if white people are not committing crimes. Therefore, there would be no police officers in Idaho. I mean, we just seen a dude murder 5 kids and 4 people in Idaho just got arrested. There would be no murders in Idaho. Therefore, we would need no police. We wouldn't have police in Montana. We wouldn't have police in Park City, Utah. We wouldn't have police in white majority areas. If the way Nick Fuentes is explaining it, all the police would just need to be in the black neighborhoods. But unless you live under a rock, if you watch the murder shows, any of the Dateline, 99% of people on Dateline are white people. So, and some police officer has to go to that house where somebody done poison somebody and kill somebody. So, everybody got trash. I think black people disproportionately represent violence and stuff. But to make the inference that you don't have any concerns, or at least that's what it's coming across as. Do you have concerns when you see white people at a convenience store that's doing this? And they got sores on their face. You're not concerned about that person? You're not concerned about Hispanics that got MS-13 tattooed across their neck? Like, maybe he's just talking about black people, and I will concede to that point. But it's just the way he coming across to sound really, to me, like he has a bias against black people and he's racist. And like I said, he said on the show that he was racist. And that's where I'm getting that from. And then we not even talk about the Jew hate stuff that he be saying, denying the Holocaust or having an extreme view on the Holocaust. It's crazy to me. But do I think Nick Fuentes should be canceled? No, I think he should say stuff. And if you disagree with him, debate him. If you disagree with him, make a video about it. I don't think he should be shunned for what he says. And he shouldn't have to care about what he believes. Because in America, you can believe what you want to believe. If I want to say I don't like white people, that's fine. If I want to say I'd never marry a white woman, white women aren't, I don't want white women. I want a black. I want my kids to be black like me and look like me. It's ignorant. It's dumb. To me, it's racist, but it's nothing wrong with you saying that if that's your opinion.